Welcome everybody to Breakfast Takes. It is a very early, very cold 6 a.m. here in the Carolinas. Listen, I'm wearing sweatpants, I'm wearing a hoodie, I'm even wearing some socks and everything, dude, because I'm cold, bro. I'm not even gonna lie.
And it's not
And
that
I'm
cold
from
here yet.
Cleveland. Oh no, it's cold here. It's currently in the very low 40s over here in North Carolina, my friend. It is very cold.
Well, it might be in the 40s outside, but it's in the 60s here in my house. So
Oh yeah, we keep it around 68, 69 in the house.
yeah, same here. Yeah, so it's 41 outside. So
Yeah, I told you
I
it's
don't
hot,
need the hoodie till I go outside later.
bruh. Listen, I don't go around anywhere without a hoodie anymore. How's that?
Well, instead of a hoodie, I've got this.
Oh, okay. What? Oh, I'm sorry. It's usually that's how it goes. Just
I figured in honor of Saturday's game, I'd break out my legend shirt
I
again.
mean, so let me ask you this because, obviously, let's get started there. Right? Welcome, everybody. This is Breakfast Takes. My name is Ed, also known as the Deadhead, and I'm with me. I have the mayor, Mr. Donnie Weiss. And, guys, we're just going to talk about Carolina sports this morning, right? That's it. That's all we do. Every morning, Monday morning at 6 a.m., this is what we do. We go over what happened over the weekend as far as college sports, NFL, anything that it is Carolina related. By the way, also, sad to say that, and we're going to talk about this. Both our Carolina teams here, in when it comes to soccer, have been officially eliminated from playoffs. They're no longer in the playoffs. So, shout out to the North Carolina FC and the USL Championship in Charlotte. Uh, they're no longer around. That's it.
Well,
It's over for
and
them.
and North Carolina FC is going to hiatus for 2 years now as they look to transition to the USL
I'm a little intrigued about that, by the way.
Division One that they're creating. Yeah,
Yeah, and I get that.
I
Uh,
mean, I get well. I saw when they said they were going to cease operations for next year to transition. I didn't realize until last night that the new league, which I guess I should have realized, the new league's not starting next year,
mhm.
but they're not gonna have a team for 2 years while they transition. And I thought, well, could they have not continued this team at
I
this
was just gonna
level?
say the same thing. Why couldn't we just
I mean,
continue?
they're breaking it because their contract ends for 2020 at the end of 2025. Well,
Mhm,
why couldn't you have renewed? And maybe the league doesn't want. I don't know. I don't know how the dynamics work because I would thought they would have been like, well, we're going to extend this for 2 seasons and then transition into the other league.
mhm.
But maybe they're not allowed to do that, or the league they're in now is like, nah, you're leaving, you're leaving. So
But but that's what I'm saying. They're both part of the USL, right?
right.
And
See, I
that is
just don't know if that's the same. Like, yeah, if you're a part of the same USL, then why wouldn't the Division One say no? We want you to stay like you are. Because
thank you.
I didn't realize till reading the article last night that when I was checking to see how the score went,
Sorry.
that the players they have now under long term contract or players that are injured. I mean, basically, those contracts are going to end. I mean, these guys are going to go on workers' comp at the end of December,
Not only that, they
and
go workers' camp, so they might have to go and go play with another team, another
yeah,
league.
got to find somewhere else to go play.
Right. And I get that, like, so all right, so like they just want to break even. They want to limit as much as cost as possible. So I can understand that part at the very least, right?
Yeah,
It's just very interesting to me that it's just why could you just at least at the very least rent it out like somewhere else? Like because they're also looking at building a brand new stadium. As
right.
I don't know if you saw that part of the
Oh yeah,
article. Brand new stadium, brand
but they
spanking
have
new.
to have a 15,000 seat stadium, and the current team was only drawing like 2 or 3 thousand fans.
Mhm.
So there's that too. Um, I would think you would want and I don't know what size stadium they're in now. It's obviously not 15,000, but
No,
if it's 5,000, unless you're packing it out and you got people waiting for tickets,
and
where are the
right.
15,000 people coming from?
Bingo. And now here's the thing though, and they're no longer gonna be in Cary, they're gonna be Raleigh, from what my understanding is.
Yeah,
You know?
and I mean, for those out there, it's not that. far away difference.
It isn't.
It's really not that much difference, but yeah, I know exactly where they're looking at the land for right there off of 440 there at the south end of downtown
Yep.
because I've done plenty of work in Raleigh over the last 8, 10 years, and I've gotten off at that exit a million times. So
Right. And listen, I'm all for it. I'm all for the fact that like they're going to be go ahead and they're going to be building a brand new stadium. You know, it is going to be the professional level of soccer here in the U.S. Right? It is going to be a direct competitor to the MLS, and
yeah,
that's what we have been talking about for a while now. It is a direct competitor now. It is. This is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I'm very intrigued. We have been talking about this also on our Break Even Sports Talk every Monday night at 8:30 p.m. Right here on YouTube. So make sure you guys go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Okay, make sure that you guys are hitting that. Everything every little helps, and that way you'll guys always can make sure that you guys got the uh, all of the content that we are putting out there for you guys. So
yep,
but yeah, it's very interesting, very intriguing, just because it's going to be one of those situations in which that's it. It's no more,
yeah,
you know. And I wish they would have gone out on a better note. I guess is what I want to say, instead of
yeah.
getting eliminated. But it is what it is.
Well, and speaking of MLS, like you said, Charlotte FC got eliminated over the weekend on Friday.
They did not show up.
They did not. I mean, they had one heck of a game earlier in the week in New York, and then they came
Hmm.
back to Charlotte and were just flat as flat could be. Got
And they were the
eliminated
better team
3-1.
all year.
Yeah, yeah, they really were. They just I don't know what happened. They couldn't do anything, and
Nothing.
so yeah, it was just. I mean, it's good that they got in the playoffs. They were number 4 team, but man, you got to go better than that. So.
Um,
But I will
yeah,
say this, the MLS fan base in Charlotte is insane.
dude, that's
It's
insane. Like that's the where the Carolina where
the Panthers, yeah.
the Panthers play.
Yeah, and I never, thought that it would be that big of a crowd, for a football stadium. I mean, I know they only use a lower bowl, but, um, I've gotta get to a tick or get tickets to get up there to a game next year. I
I
really
think the
wanted to
both of
try
us
to.
do.
Yeah, I really wanted to try to get to one of these playoff games. The timing just didn't work last week or over the last couple of weeks with our vacation we already had planned, or I
Yeah.
probably would have. Um, I really wanted to go to that final game of the regular season, but then I was like, yeah, well, I'll wait to playoff, and then playoff schedule came out, and it was like, yeah. So, yep,
Same here. It's like, like it scheduling wise and everything that has been going on with me. I was like, I wish I would have been able to make it. I just couldn't.
right,
There was just no way about it. I was trying, but the way that it ended up breaking out is just couldn't do it. So
yep,
it is what it is. But yeah, I'm sorry to hear that they got eliminated. Just because it would have been cool to see, um, the at least one of the teams make it a little further out, right? So
exactly, yeah,
Um, for North Carolina FC, they did make it to the quarterfinals. They would have made it to the semifinals, but you know, now they go on hiatus.
yep,
And it's interesting because they put that out, after their loss. I was like, "Yep, we're done. We're good.
right,
It's over."
exactly,
So it's sad to see that, but at the same time, I understand. It is because of the progress, right? We got, they are looking into moving into the higher top tier level of the USL League, which is Division One, is from what I understand. Correct?
yep, and are they the first team to announce that they're even doing that?
I
So
think they are.
they're like, we're getting ahead of the game here. We're going to jump right into the big boy league that they're trying to get started and compete directly with MLS and have the promotion relegation, which is not something that happens here in the U.S., which we've talked about again on Break Even Sports. And we'll talk a lot tonight about soccer too, especially that game last night that we watched. But that was a crazy game. But we'll get into that tonight. You talk about the ultimate Canadian soccer? It was like hockey and soccer
It was
combined with the snow and ice and stuff. But anyway,
I'll say this, and then we're not gonna talk about it anymore because I
no,
was talking
we'll talk.
we have to talk about it tonight, so make sure you guys tune in tonight at 8:30 PM, Break Even Sports. And I'll say this, even my wife and my daughter were watching this game last night.
I had it on my radar to catch that game, and then it got off my radar during the day. And when you texted, y'all got, I was like, "Oh crap, I forgot that game was on." And I don't know if I was thinking it was later in the night that it was coming on or what, but I was
Yeah.
like, I flipped over and I was like, "Holy hell!"
Right? It wasn't that word that he said, by the way. He said a different word,
That's
uh,
right.
but it was well warranted because my god, what a match.
I
But
did,
again, tune in
anyway.
tonight
Yes,
at, excuse me, tune in tonight at 8:30 PM, Break Even Sports. Make sure that you guys, set your schedule your calendar for this because it is gonna be, some great conversation, some soccer conversation for sure,
sure.
and some FCS football, which I'm always happy about. So, all right. So yeah. So again, we talked a little bit of soccer, right? We are going to be losing North Carolina FC, and one more thing that we really haven't talked about is now they're going to be a direct competitor to Charlotte.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and there's and I'm glad to see that somewhat. I
Okay.
mean, I know Charlotte. I even said this to you about talking about Major League Baseball and the possibility of Charlotte or Raleigh. It's like I like that Charlotte's closer to me, but I don't want everything in Charlotte. I don't want it to be
I get
like
that.
if especially for and I get to. I mean, it's like when the Panthers started, they tried to kinda put it in the center of South and North Carolina there,
Right.
sort of capture the markets of both states, for the team, and then the Hornets kinda the same way,
Yep.
and I get that, but at the same time, you put everything in one city and it just makes it's I don't know, just crazy to
Too
me.
much.
It's too much. And so I'm glad to see. I hope that the baseball team and having this soccer team in Raleigh, because again they've got MLS in Charlotte, so this wouldn't work to have the
No.
same thing there anyway. So you kind of cover the states, and nobody in South Carolina is big enough to carry something like this as far as fan base or anything anyway. Um, so I'd rather see it in Raleigh. Same with baseball. It's not there's no cities in Columbia that could. I mean, in Columbia, excuse me, in South Carolina,
That
like
can
Columbia, that could
hold.
handle that.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to spread it across North Carolina and have both cities sort of carry a little bit of the load
Hmm.
of major sports there. I mean, you've got the hockey team with the Hurricanes, which we can transition into that real quick if you want with
Absolutely.
the run that they're doing. I mean, Hurricanes are 4-0 this week since we were on the air last Monday morning. So
Yeah.
they've swept theirs. They beat the Rangers 3-0, the Wild 4-3, Buffalo 6-3, and then last night or yesterday afternoon, Toronto 5-4.
And
So
that was a close one because they were
that was
winning that they were winning by a lot more, and then all of a
yeah.
sudden Toronto came back. I'm like, "Oh, okay,
Yep.
okay."
So even with that, they're 10-4. They're in third place in their division behind New Jersey and Pittsburgh, but they're making a good run there. And and then just real quick, Charlotte Checkers swept the weekend too. Their two games over the Syracuse Crunch, 4-1, 3-2. So they're 6-4 on the season in fourth place as well. So both the North Carolina hockey teams uh, with pretty good runs this past week.
That's right. I
And
like it. I
yeah,
wish I could say the same
I
about
gotta pull.
football.
Yeah, I know. I got to pull some scores for some of the other hockey teams in South Carolina to add to our hockey talk, and I didn't do that, so that's on me.
No, that's fine, and
We
and
got
I
some
get that.
ECHL teams in action down here
We
in the
do.
South Carolina, so
We do have a lot of hockey teams on here. I
it's a
was actually
lot.
surprised that we have some, but
Yep.
which again, I think it speaks to the popularity of two sports, right? That we have been seeing some tremendous growth in the last couple of years has been soccer and hockey in this
Yeah,
area, and they're growing. And listen, I'm all for it. Right, we have been talking about this. I'm all for growth, and I'm all for the development of different sports in here in the Carolinas. So I'm very happy for that. So
I'm loving it. I'm getting more and more into the soccer, as you
cool.
know, and
Yeah.
again, we'll talk about that tonight. But yeah, I mean, I'm understanding it better now, so I'm following it. I'm enjoying it. I spend
Same
Saturday
here,
and
yeah.
Sunday mornings watching European soccer some now, and even it's funny going out to, again, we'll talk about this more tonight. Going out to the little league soccer game Saturday for a friend of mine's son. Just watching those kids after having watching professional level soccer for a few weeks now. um, I understand what the kids are trying to do, and it's
Yeah.
funny watching them not play to the space because they don't know any better. They all just run
Mhm.
through the ball, and it's like, dude, you got to be like the kids just like, okay, this is my spot, and if the ball's not near them, they just stand there in that spot with their arms behind their head, behind their back, like waiting for the ball to come to me. It's like, dude, you got to move around. I'm like, these aren't even my kids. I don't have a kid playing. I'm
Yeah,
wanting to yell at them. I'm like, dude, move, go, create some space, move, move, move.
you're like, "Come on, kid, do something."
It's like the coaching in me wants to come out, and that's how I was with with little league coaching. Before I had kids, I coached little league baseball, just because I enjoyed the sport so much. And then I'm like, these aren't my kids, but I just enjoy trying to help kids learn. And it was crazy that like
Same with me.
it's like I wanted
Same
to go
with
over there
me.
and take over for the coach or something. Be like, dude, you're not doing it right.
I told you this happened to me a couple of weeks ago during one of my perfect game visits to my nephew's game. It's like I was like talking to this kid. I was like, and first of all, I asked permission to, I asked my brother-in-law who was the head coach of the team, and I was like, "Do you mind?" He's like, "Yeah, go ahead," because he's not listening to me, so he might as well listen to you. So right, so I'm like coaching him, and I'm like, these kids like they have this thing, and I think it's a good thing and a bad thing, right? Like they're trying to emulate like the professional players,
Right.
and some of them shouldn't, like, or
Yeah.
most of them shouldn't be doing that because they're not good enough. They haven't developed the necessary skills to be there, right? Like, and I tell my nephew all the time, I'm like, listen, dude, you gotta work on your mechanics. You gotta work on your basics first.
Yeah.
Don't worry about what Juan Soto's doing. Don't worry about what any of these guys are doing because they're already professionals. They have already developed these necessary skills in order to get to where they are, to get those mannerisms that they have.
Yeah.
You can't afford to do that. You want to get to where they are. You gotta work on the mechanics.
Yeah. I wish there were more avenues for kids to see what the professional guys do before the game, because that's what
That would,
nobody sees.
yeah,
I mean, it used to be, even as a fans, you used to get in early enough, you could go out there and see them taking batting practice, and you could see
taking
them
field, yeah.
doing warm fielding and stuff, and the stadiums don't even open up that early anymore, and most of them don't even do that anymore. I mean, the players themselves have gotten so entitled in a lot of ways that they're like, I do that work hours before the gates open." But, there used to be, I mean, again, I know I'm old, but there
No, I get
used to
that.
be shows on Saturday morning or Sunday on the three channels that we had about fundamentals of baseball. I mean, Johnny Bench had one of the best shows ever teaching kids fundamentals of baseball. And you would sit there. As a kid, that's the things I loved watching, was seeing that show and what major leaguer he was going to bring on. And he was just teaching practice skills, and these kids, they're like they're like AI. Practice? We talking
Yeah,
about practice? Come on.
yeah.
Like, they don't care about that anymore, and that's, I mean, Tom Brady got to be Tom Brady because he and Peyton Manning, because
He
of
they
practice. They
and they
love practice.
obsessed about
Obsessed over
the
practice.
100%, right? Like, I
And
mean, that's
and
what you
again, I
gotta
know you don't
do.
like Aaron Rodgers, but he's the same way. He expects these guys to be where they're supposed to be,
Yeah.
and when they're not, and like last night, when he's hitting them with the ball and they're not catching it, he is getting pissed.
I would be too, and
And
I'll
and
say that about him. Yeah, you're right.
he's like, I mean, that last interception last night, late in the game, I mean, he hit the dude, and the dude didn't catch it. It bounced off his hands and his chest, and it was intercepted. And he's just like, "What the like, dude? You
Yeah.
gotta catch that
Ca
ball. I
Catch the
put it there, catch
dang
it."
ball.
So
Oh,
anyway, it's crazy. The kid, yeah, but like Steph Curry too.
yeah.
I mean, the kids, all they're doing, just all these kids the last 10 years, they just run down and just chunk it up. Like
Yeah,
they're trying to shoot it from half court. It's like, dude, learn to shoot the jumper, and then when you get old enough and you're getting paid, then you can do that stuff.
correct, and that's I think that's what's missing, right? Is the fact that, like, these kids all have these professional players, they are where they are because they have spent so much time developing those necessary skills,
Yeah,
that in order to get them to where they are. Like, don't worry about, like, your fancy footwork. Like, develop the regular footwork. Develop your
yeah,
the wi- and this annoys me to no end, and it shouldn't, but it does. When I go see a little league game and they're like, you see these kids just standing around instead of like getting yourself set up, for the pitch
right.
or things like that. I'm like, this also, it comes to coaching, you know. There are some coaches out there, they don't are like, guys, you gotta help these guys out. I was like, set them up, boom,
Yeah,
let's go. You know what I mean? And my nephew plays first base, which is with the position that I was playing. And I was like, all right, listen, when you have that runner on first, you gotta set up.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And then once you see the windup for the pitcher, that's when you step off and you prepare yourself to grab the ground ball or whatever.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But he was just
Exactly.
standing there. I'm
Yeah.
like, "No, you can't be doing that," you know? So, yeah, those little mechanics, right? And then that's you gotta keep working on that, keep working on that, keep working on that. So, we just got off on a tangent here, and I do apologize, guys.
That's alright.
Well, let's get back into it. Let's get back to some of the Carolina sports, and then, why don't we go into college football because there were some interesting scores,
Yeah.
this weekend, and I'll start with, why don't we do this? Why don't we start with your alma mater, in Clemson finally getting a good win against the Florida State team. Some ACC football right there. They won 24-10. What are your thoughts on that game, my friend?
Well, I was glad that we got the win. We played okay. We didn't play great, which has kind of been the MO all season long. Um, the I mean, we we didn't have this is the one thing that again, we talked about this last week
Yeah.
that, was the difference to me in the game is we didn't have any turnovers, and we only had 2 penalties for 17 yards.
Mm.
That's the only difference in the game because they had 360 yards of offense, we only had 319 yards of offense. Um, the, uh, we were efficient with our passing game, but we only had 98 yards passing, we only had, a small amount of yards in rushing. I was just trying to pull the yeah,
Yeah. Randall had only
yeah, we had
15
9 no,
carries
sorry,
for
we had
48
98
yards.
yards rushing. I'm sorry, we had 98 yards rushing and, on, 36 carries, I think it was.
Whew.
Yeah, that's what it was. 36 carries for 98 yards. I had my stat written down wrong.
Was Castellanos 23 out of 43?
He was slinging it around 250 yards. He had that one interception, and that was the difference for them in the game. I mean, again, Florida State's been bad all year,
Hmm.
but they're kinda like Clemson. They're not bad bad, they're just
Bad
mistake bad.
enough. Yeah,
They're
bad
they're
enough
mistake
there.
bad.
Yeah.
They had 2 turnovers and they had 5 penalties for 50 yards. Um, rushing, they had 110, we had 98. Passing, they had 250 to 221, 19 first downs. Efficiency on third down, both of us sucked. They were 5 for 15, we were 4 for 15. I mean, we didn't play a great game, which is, again, our MO all year long, but we did enough to
To
win,
win.
and it looked better because we capitalized on a couple of their mistakes and we didn't have a lot of great plays,
Yeah.
but we made enough. Which at this point, we just needed to win some games.
Let
I
me
don't know how we're
Yeah.
going to do against Louisville, but
Oof.
Louisville didn't look as great
They didn't.
either. So I don't know. I hope if we can get that win, then we're kind of sitting a lot better going
They
into
lo
Furman in South Carolina.
They were the favorite going against Cal, Louisville was, and then they lost 29 to
Yeah,
26, so
yeah. And Cal, it was like, really, Cal
yeah.
showed up.
So let me ask you this, is it 6 games in order for them to make it to a college bowl, to be
Yeah,
eligible?
unless you're like the 8th or ninth team in the Big Ten, you could potentially get one with 5 wins. Well, maybe the ACC. I
Wow, wow,
there's so
wow,
many
shots fired.
well, I mean, there's and I'm not trying to knock the Big Ten, but the Big Ten, SEC, and ACC, I should say, all of them have had teams on that bubble where they're trying to fill these bowl games. They got
There's not
so
yeah,
many freaking bowl games that they
too
have
many bowl games.
contractually obligated to that they've had to consider. And I don't know, I don't remember the last one that was 5 win,
Mhm.
I know there has been. I just can't remember who it is, but I know one of the conferences had somebody with 5 wins that filled a bowl spot because they had to.
And the only reason I'm asking this, okay, this is the only reason I'm asking this is we could potentially have um a North Carolina Tar Heel team could potentially make it. Okay, I'm just putting it out there because they won their game. All right,
Well, this is funny too when you say that about as much as North Carolina has looked like just garbage all week long. I mean, all year long. They're 4-5 and they're 2-3 in the ACC.
yeah,
Well, you know, Clemson is 4-5 and they're 3-4 in the ACC. So it's like,
we live
maybe
in a
North
wild
Carolina is
world.
not that bad.
We live in a wild world right now in
We
which
do.
we're talking about North Carolina, the Tar Heels. They could potentially they get 2 more games and they could potentially be bowl eligible. And I think that would be a win for the Tar Heels after so many bad headlines,
After their
right?
PR nightmare that the year started out with. Let's put it that
That oh my god, it has been an absolute nightmare, right? From when Bill came in with his girlfriend and she is trying to take over, and then nobody wants to deal with them because they were supposed to have an in-season um documentary, docuseries and all that, but they pulled out because one, they were so bad. She was involved and nobody wanted to work with her and all this other stuff. So it's like, my God, this is like an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, and it's funny when um you see who's still trying to get clicks by bringing her up because every once in a while I'll scroll through just like generic articles
Yep.
and there's somebody that's like, Bill and Jordan walking off the field after, North Carolina win against Cal. It's like,
Like
why
nobody
are you
cares.
hey, who cares? Why are you even mentioning her? Like
Nobody cares.
you're only saying that could be like, oh, let me see what happened. Did she prance off of like it's all for clicks. That's what's crazy.
And that's what it is. It's like nobody cares. No
Yep.
one cares. Um, and, and again, really quick, guys, just make sure that you are subscribed to every single one of our channels. Make sure you subscribe to the mayor, myself. We are on pretty much all of the socials. So make sure you guys subscribe. Hit subscribe button on this YouTube channel, so that way you guys always get all the content when it comes to sports. There are 3 live shows. That's right. Every Mondays we have this show at 6 a.m. Breakfast 6, which is Carolina specific sports. Then later on tonight at 8:30, we have Break Even Sports Talk, where we talk about FCS football, the football, soccer, right? We talk about other things that is not NFL, MLB, NBA related or NHL. So just wanted to make sure that you guys hit that subscribe button. And then, of course, tomorrow and Tuesday and Thursdays, not 8 p.m. Eastern time, the DAC Sports Show. So thank you again for joining us, and thank you for having that conversations with us today, this morning. Okay, so um, we go
Real
ahead.
quick, one thing that I find interesting, and again, I like to get my jabs in at the SEC where I
Of
can.
course you do.
I was just scrolling down, looking at because I pulled up the standings real quick, looking at when we said something about North Carolina,
Okay.
and so the SEC has 9 ranked teams. They have
Yeah.
Tennessee and Missouri hanging on there at the end. Both of them are 6-3, but Tennessee's 3-3 in the conference. Missouri's 2-3 in the SEC. They have a losing record in conference, but they're still ranked 22. And by
Jesus.
comparison, you have 5 ACC teams that are ranked. You have 2 teams below Duke. Duke is 5-4 overall. They're
Yeah, but
4-1 in the conference.
look who Duke lost to last
I
night.
understand, but
This weekend.
you've also got SMU at 7-3
Mhm.
and 5-1, who's not ranked. How is SMU not ranked ahead of Tennessee and Missouri?
I don't disagree with you.
I
I
mean, and again, I know it goes. That's the thing. It goes back to who you've
there's
played and all
huge,
that.
yeah.
But at the same time, this is my bias coming out. The teams that Missouri and Tennessee have lost to
Mhm.
should have knocked them out of the rankings, and it's
Shoulda,
like,
coulda, woulda.
well, they lost to SEC teams. It's a quality loss. No, there's no quality loss.
I
Hate that term.
I hate quality loss, and
They
then I
think that a loss against an SEC team is better than an ACC team having a loss against another ACC team. And it's like,
mhm.
come on, guys. I mean, seriously,
It's annoying.
it's so
Absolutely.
annoying.
You still
And
lost.
and the thing is, Pittsburgh is ranked 24. These are this week's rankings. So Pittsburgh is ranked 24. They're 7-2, and they're 5-1 in the conference. They're ahead of in our conference SMU and Duke, but they're also ahead of Louisville and Miami. Now I get Louisville and Miami drop because of their
Their
losses,
losses.
but it's like, come on. Anyway,
I
I'll get
I
off that.
no. I again, I don't disagree. And it's funny because we live in a state in which, well, Miami won this week. They're 18th overall.
Right.
They won against
They held, yeah,
Syracuse.
they kind of held serve a little bit with the ranking, so by
Correct,
winning.
correct. Uh, you know, Louisville 15 right now, right in the country.
Yeah. And they dropped because they were a single digit before losing to Cal.
Correct. Shout out to East Carolina, my niece's school. East Carolina handled Charlotte 48-22, which it was homecoming weekend.
Yep.
So that was pretty cool. Duke lost to UConn.
I know. And that's what's crazy is like, and I guess that's why they're not ranked because they lost to UConn
Of
despite
all teams, like
of
the
all
week
things.
before they won big time, and now this week they lose to UConn. Duke, it's Duke. Yeah. Anyways, that
I don't
that
know that
was
they won big time. They beat us, and we're not that great.
no. And then Coastal Carolina beat Georgia State 40-27. So those are some of the North Carolina teams that I see.
Well, Wake Forest went into
Hey,
Charlottesville and beat Virginia too.
I
That
was
was impressive.
ranked Virginia,
Mhm.
the Cavaliers. So a shout out to them on that one. I was like, oh, okay.
Yep.
Look at them. They're heading their own on that one. So that was pretty interesting. I am looking to see if
Let's
Campbell
see.
played any of those FCS teams.
Well,
Um,
these are the ones I've got for FCS.
Davidson.
I was getting ready to say Davidson bowed up and beat Presbyterian.
Oh,
Uh,
hi. What's up, Patrick? Somebody look. I'm sorry. I got to talk about North Carolina team beating Georgia State. I apologize. But shout out to you, my friend. Make sure you guys are following my boy MLB Had History on all of the channels because my dude he has some good content. All right, he's talking about all minor league hats and things like that. So he does have a vast collection of hats and
yes, he
uh,
does. Good
good
morning,
dude
Patrick.
overall. All right. So
Yeah,
what are the other scores?
that was one that surprised me though that Presbyterian only got 13 against Davidson. But you know, I hadn't seen Phil pop on here, but sorry, Phil. Furman didn't do it again. Furman 40 lost 45-28 to Chattanooga, and it's like, come on. I mean, they've gotten smoked 2 weeks in a row by Mercer and now Chattanooga.
Yeah.
So not good. South Carolina State beat Howard 42-12.
Nice.
North Carolina Central up in your area, giving Vic and his Norfolk State another loss, 31-28. And then, oh my gosh, Western Carolina, who had been fire hot, they came up against the Mercer Blade again, too. So, I mean, that was a close game, 49-47. Lot of
Furman might beat Georgia State.
they
Well,
might.
yeah. What else we got?
Well, Gamecocks didn't lose; they were on a bye, so that helped them a little bit.
I
Coming off
do
of firing their OC, and we'll see how they collect themselves going into the last few games of the season.
shout out to and I have a soft spot for this team, the Campbell Camels. However, they lost to William and Mary. William
Uh,
and Mary is a much better team. They're a better team this year so far. They're 6-4. Campbell now is 2-8. They lost, but they made it an interesting game. They fought all the way. They just needed 3 more points to at the very least tie it, but they lost 30-27. To shout out to our good friend Anna Di Tommaso.
yeah, and speaking of Campbell, I did pick up that one Campbell hat that she had available. I was like,
I
I
picked
don't
up.
know. Did you get the other one?
I
It
did.
was okay because there was one that was X'd out, and I was like, I wonder if
Of course I
Ed
did.
grabbed that one,
Yeah.
and I saw that other one. I'm like, I don't really need a Campbell hat, but if she's giving it away, it's like that's a pretty cool hat. Like it's orange with the Campbell on the
Dude, it
front.
was with the actual camel
The
itself, and
Cam,
as soon as I saw it, I was like, I need that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I say, "Listen, reach out to Donnie because Donnie might be interested in a couple of those hats, and, I know he's gonna be interested in that Campbell camel hat."
Yep.
And she was like, "Alright, good." So, you know
Yeah, I felt guilty, but I was like, "I'd like these 3," and then she had one, I didn't know what it was, and then she explained what it was. It was a unique, Tampa Rays, hat, but it was like, "Eh, I don't really need that one."
No,
Not that I need any of them, but,
no,
there
we
were
don't need any of them, but
there were excuse me there were a couple of them that I was like, "Okay, that's pretty cool," and one of them was a trucker hat, and I need more truckers for my Trucker Tuesday
yeah.
post, so,
That's
um
right. You do have your hats that you like every day is a different,
I know, it used to be just off to work, off to work, off to work, which most of them are off to work, but I tried to come up with a unique, identifier for each day just to help me with the selection of what I'm gonna pick,
Yeah. By the way,
and
our friend Patrick putting the dad jokes right off the rip. Where do you watch a lit Campbell games? Camelot. Oh, Patrick.
he's gotta get the jokes in,
Oh,
and I
he does.
appreciate you being here, though.
I appreciate you. No, no, seriously, guys. Again, make sure you guys are following my boy here. He does have cool stuff. So, okay,
Oh, one other game,
yeah,
Citadel collected a paycheck this weekend for
yep.
sure. They got smoked 49-0 at Ole Miss, so, that
You know
was a
who
paycheck
collected a
game.
paycheck?
Huh?
You know who also collected a paycheck?
No, who?
Their head coach of Ole
Oh,
Miss.
Ole Miss. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
My dude got paid.
Yeah, don't want him to go anywhere, so
What would you?
and
You know what I'm
I don't I saw this, it's like, when you're scrolling through Reels and TikTok every once in a while randomly, I'm assuming this was from this past week's game because of when it popped up, but there was apparently somebody with Ole Miss program that made a proposal on the field before the game,
saying?
or off on the sideline area, and she said yes, and they were taking some pictures. And Lane Kiffin walks over with his headset on, mind you, because the game's getting ready to start, and puts his arm around the groom and bride and takes a picture with them. I was like, "That's Lane Kiffin. That dude
I was
is
just gonna say,
living a good life right now."
and then we did talk about this. It's like, why would he leave anywhere else that right there?
I mean,
Oh,
yeah, I mean,
no, I know you did tell us, Patrick, he was not gonna go anywhere, and I agree.
yeah,
Like, obviously his name came up with some of the big schools that are available right now, Penn State and, Virginia Tech and Oregon State. These are schools that are open, that they have a head coaching availability, but, we also did discuss is like, if I'm Ole Miss, I'm writing a check.
yeah.
Like, "Hey, you ain't going nowhere, bro."
Well, and the thing is, in some regards, and we'll probably get into this more Thursday night, or excuse me, Tuesday night, on on the Dad Hat Chronicle Sports Show. Um, are there any jobs that are really gotta have jobs anymore? I mean, it's like, it used to be when
Not
LSU or
anymore.
Penn State popped up, it's like, "Oh, dude, you gotta have that job." It's like, "Really?" I mean, most of the jobs where you're at now, if you're getting paid, you're on the same level for the most part. It's not like
Yeah.
Florida. Like, it used to be Florida was a coveted SEC job, or LSU was a coveted SEC job, and here you got Lane Kiffin that's like, "I'm gonna
We're
stay put
good.
here at Ole Miss. I'm good." You got other coaches at other teams. It's like the playing field's leveling with NIL and transfer, and some of I mean, these programs have always been good programs. As we said a little while ago, the SEC's got 9 teams ranked. If unless you're going to be one of the perennial bottom feeders,
Yeah.
um, then you're going to stay put if you have the choice. The only reason you're not going to stay put is you don't have the choice anymore.
Well, yeah, you're Brett, Franklin, right?
Right.
Like he doesn't have a choice anymore to be there where he's at a Penn State, which by the way, they also lost this weekend,
Right.
Penn State. Not a good loss. But like,
Because like he's one of those.
yeah.
If he was having a little bit better season, but still not Ohio State standard type
Mhm.
season, um, would they be paying him to stay? And it's like, he's bad enough that they had to finally fire him, but he wasn't going anywhere on his own. he wasn't going to leave Penn State for another job
No,
just
not
because he
a
was having a sort of okay season. And that's where I'm at with you with Dabo's not going anywhere unless the team gets rid of him or the school gets rid of him. No, that's
as
not
as
happening.
our friend wants to make sure that
Well, he helped me with my segue right there because it was like, yeah, Dabo's built something at Clemson that he's not going to walk away from on his own, and I think because
just
he's built
yet.
what he's built,
Yeah.
they're not gonna get rid of him yet either.
And
It's
that's
gonna
what
take a lot more.
right. I think this year, next year, if he does bad next year, then at that point we're like, all right, listen,
Absolutely.
I think it's time for a separation of coach and team, and that at that point it would be warranted, but not after just one season where they're not doing so good this year. I don't, I wouldn't see them, but next
Yeah.
year, okay,
I
now we're talking.
and it used to be that he's never a clean house kinda guy. He'll upgrade, so he's had coordinators leave on their own for other jobs and, and had to backfill those. And he's always struggled with filling, the OC job, and I don't understand why, because he had Rich Rodriguez when he started at Clemson, and Rich Rod, I mean, he springboarded his early success coming from Tulane, to Clemson with Dabo and, into success to get other jobs that ended up not being very successful for him in the long run, but,
Yeah,
I mean,
he's
he
at
still
West
bounced
Virginia,
around.
isn't he?
Yeah,
Now.
but, yeah, he's back at West Virginia a second stint because he
Mhm.
went there and then went to Michigan and Arizona and everywhere else, and, but he's always struggled to find that good offensive coordinator. He did have Chad Morris for a while, then Chad left for a head coaching job, and I get it. Some guys, it's like they're just like, "Okay, I'm done with this. I want." Like, dude, you had like Brent Venables. I
But
get you wanna be a head coach, but why?
but but let me
You
ask
had
you
a
this
great
though.
life as a coordinator, and you were getting paid still.
But that's just that was my question right to you. It's like, okay, so they're getting paid, yeah, and they're having an opportunity to coach in big time football. But like, is it because that Dabo has so much influence in the offensive side that he is just like has full control that an offensive coordinator may not have the liberty to do or say the things that he can in order to make the team better?
I don't think so. I think he's let his coordinators do that. I think he's a CEO type. He really has been from the beginning.
Okay.
He's
You know
the
more about Clemson than I do, so
yeah,
I'm just posing the question.
he's always been the rah 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 guy. I'm gonna bring my coordinators in and I'm gonna let them do it. And he's taken the heat for them for not doing what they're supposed to do, which is where he's at right now.
Mhm.
That's where he's been the last couple of years with Brent Venables leaving because um, the guy that took over for Venables, the defense just suffered, and he hung with him for a few years, and it was like this ain't working. And he brought a new guy in, and the new guy hasn't taken hold yet either. But like I talked about last week, you gotta you gotta work with what you got instead of trying to say, well, I don't have the kind of guys I need for what I want to do. Well, what you need to do is what you can with what you got
Yeah.
until you get what you want. I've never liked that part either. So yeah, Patrick says these guys have ambitions to be head coaches and build their own program, and I get that. But
Yep.
you know, and I guess maybe here I am sitting here without any of these opportunities, so it's easy for me to say, well,
And
I'd have
we're
been.
just 2 talking heads right now
I
talking
know.
about,
I was like, yeah, I'll just sit right here, be defensive coordinator, and keep collecting championships as the
but
second hand man.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like you gotta have that level of like determination. And to Patrick's point, right? It's like, okay, yeah, I like being a coordinator, and there's nothing wrong with being a coordinator, but I want more than just being a coordinator. I want to be the head coach. I want to be the one who's running my own program. And when you get to that level, then yeah, that's absolutely that's what you want to do. That's where you want to be.
Yeah. So I think that back to Dabo, I think he will sit down this offseason and make a lot more wholesale changes. Um, I hope he considers another change at offensive coordinator or something there. I don't
Yeah.
know what the solution is. It's not Garrett Riley long term
Yeah.
to
And
me.
I'll say this. They have an opportunity to technically they can go 6-6 for the rest of the year because they have 3 games left, right?
Yeah.
They got at Louisville. That's going to be a tough one.
Yep.
And then they go to the pancake one, Furman.
Yep.
And they finish at South Carolina. So they can potentially be 6-6, make a bowl game, and at least salvage this season.
Yeah. I mean, the administration's not stupid. They'll be like, yeah, okay, you got 6-6, but you barely scraped that one out. But still, he can look and say, hey, we made a bowl game. The thing is, he has these are the goal lists always with Clemson as a program is win the state, which is the game over South Carolina, win the conference, win the national championship. Well, they're not going to do the last two.
They're not going to. They're not going to win the conference, and they're not going to win the national championship.
What they you start losing them in reverse order. So you lose your opportunity for national championship. Well, we can still win the conference. Well, then you lose that. It's like, well, we got to at least win the state. If you don't win, and his motto is, if you don't win at least one of those, then it's a bad season. That's how they look at it. So,
nope, you're officially in the bad season.
Right. Stage. If we don't beat South Carolina, that's where this season will look bad. If we beat South Carolina,
disaster.
Right. If we beat South Carolina and we go to a bowl game, then it's like, okay, we had some success with growing pains.
Yeah.
But if they lose that game, then it's like, all right, that's a whole other story we're talking about now.
And same thing with, salvaging a season. We're talking about salvaging a season today, right? Like,
Yeah.
okay, but look at North Carolina. North Carolina, I don't think they're going to make a bowl game. And here's why. Next game on November 15th, Wake Forest. Then after that, versus Duke. Then after that, they finish the season at NC State. Granted, it is here with those last two ones are going to be in Durham and then in Raleigh, right? So, listen, they have a tough road, and I don't know about salvaging a season at this point. I think it's going to be a bad season for them overall.
Yeah,
it was a disastrous season from the very beginning. And you talking about the ACC standing, we're talking about look at the teams that are at the top. You got Georgia Tech, Virginia, Pittsburgh, SMU, Duke, Louisville, Miami, Wake Forest, California. Then we get to Clemson, right?
Right.
Virginia Tech, NC State, North Carolina. Then you have Stanford, Florida State, Syracuse, and Boston College.
That's funny that North Carolina has left on their schedule all the schools right around them. I mean, it's not a gauntlet; it's a triangle.
Yeah, technically, but we're known as a triangle here, right?
Yeah. But I mean, they can drive to any one of those schools for lunch and get back in time.
Oh yeah, what I've done it.
Me too. Hell, they could walk to Duke. But yeah, I mean that's kind of crazy to finish with those three teams that are right there in your backyard. And you're right. I mean, they need 2 out of 3 of those just to have 6 wins. I don't see that happening at all.
No, I don't. I don't either. I don't. Maybe, and I'm talking about maybe NC State will be a win. Other than that, I don't see them beating Wake Forest. I don't see them beating Duke. Even Duke didn't show up this weekend against UConn, right? And so that's gonna be what's up, Phil. We just missed our Furman talk.
I think that's why he came in late. He didn't want to hear about Furman, so he's like, "I'm just gonna show. I'm gonna let them get that out of the way." And Patrick did point out Venables waited a while to make a selection, which is true. He had opportunities much earlier in his career at Clemson to jump to some other programs, but he did wait and find what he felt was the right solution for him, which so far is working out now. It didn't look like it was going to work out for a couple of seasons, and we'll see how long it continues to work out at Oklahoma. But, good for him. He was back at the game on Saturday. I told my guys that I watched the game with, I said, I didn't even know Venables was at the game. They didn't talk about that during the broadcast. And the next morning, I saw Dabo was talking about Venables being back on the sideline, and he was asking him some advice during the game because he was standing there, and he was talking about Venables being fired up for the defense and stuff. And I said, yeah, that's why we won, because Venables was in the stadium. I mean, I love that guy. I think his fire and his passion for football and defense are what is missing from our defenses, because we used to just lock and load every year on defense, and now we've just lost that.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I'm gonna miss that. And another coordinator that real quick too, that didn't leave on his own, but has turned out pretty good, was Tony Elliott. I hated Tony Elliott as an offensive coordinator. I mean, they had to have Jeff Scott in there as a co-coordinator to help balance him out because Tony was so conservative. But I mean, look where he's got Virginia now. He's built that program pretty good. It's a low key program, and he's got them ranked 14th right now, 8-2. So at least some coordinators from Clemson or Dabo's
Mhm.
tree are doing pretty good right now too. So
And to your point, Kirby Smart, listen,
yeah,
Georgia was looking kind of rough early in the season, and then now they're number 5 in the country. So hey, something to say.
yep, absolutely. So
Again, shout out to Wake Forest. Going into Virginia. Speaking of that, going
yeah,
into Virginia and winning. Because they held Virginia. Virginia did not score a single touchdown. It was literally 3 field goals. That's it.
yeah, right,
And nothing in the fourth quarter. They got nothing in the
yep.
fourth quarter. So they literally have 1 field goal each quarter. So that's, again, shout out to
And
Wake
they've
Forest.
they've been a good team all year. It was kind of surprising that Virginia couldn't get anything going. But there's teams like that Wake Forest maybe is one of those thorns for Virginia, just like Clemson has a couple of. I mean, Wake Forest and North Carolina State have always been a thorn to Clemson. No
Mhm.
matter how good we are, those are the teams that if they're on your schedule and you're rocking along with 1 or 2 losses, that could be a loss because they just find a way to get up for those games. So Wake Forest got up for that game against Virginia for sure.
And I know we're making fun of because it is UConn, but UConn is 7-3 and quietly.
They're coming out of no. I didn't even think they were 6-3. I was like, oh my god, how did they lose to UConn? UConn's horrible. And in my brain, I'm thinking UConn's like UMass because they've always been kind of bad. But no, UConn
Yeah,
is
they won
six.
against UAB, against Duke. They won against Boston College, FIU, Buffalo, Ball State. They lost to Delaware and Syracuse, right? So, like, I mean, these it's their strength of schedule is not that good.
Right.
However, I think it's a program that they have been working on. Who was their head coach? Oh my god.
I don't even know who it is now, or if it used to be. Gosh, you got to look it up because it was
Yeah,
somebody of note. Um,
Gamecocks are my only team that didn't lose this weekend. That's because they didn't
it
play,
wasn't
but it's
Jim
okay.
Mora Jr., was it?
Uh,
I know he went there at
I
one
think it
point.
is.
Is he still there? I think it was Jim Mora Jr.
Yeah, it's Jim Mora.
Yeah. So I couldn't remember if he was still there or somebody else. So he was
Oh, he's still there.
wow.
Jesus Christ, Jim Mora is 64?
Yeah. He's been around a while.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Pardon my language. Wow. Yeah, again, he's quietly putting a team together there. No one's talking about them. No one's saying much about it, obviously, because it is UConn, right? The Huskies, and the Huskies are known for basketball, not
Right.
for football. And quietly, they're putting a good program. They're 7-3. They are already they're bowl eligible, so that's a good thing. Winning season,
Yep.
that's not
It's
bad.
it's almost like a retirement coaching job. Like it's so low key that you could you can have a guy with his pedigree and the things that he's done in the NFL and everything else be like, you know what? I'm just going to go where the expectations low. I'm going to chill. I'm going to, try to have a pretty good year to year winning program. And
Build a program and then leave it up to somebody else
yeah,
after
and
that.
then let some young buck come in and be like, all right, here's your leap leaping stone or whatever
Yeah,
to the next
stepping
level.
stone.
Is stepping stone to the next level is just like, all right, I got a good program. Just come in here and see if you can put a little fire under it and springboard yourself into a bigger job.
Playoffs? Um, so, listen, good for them. Good
Yep.
for them. That's a good UConn team right there. So, let me see. I'm taking a look here. Again, shout out to East Carolina. They're 6-3 in the American Conference right now. They handled the hell out of Charlotte, 48-22. They got next is Memphis next weekend. So again, it was homecoming weekend for East Carolina. And the only reason I know that is because I was texting my niece and she was like, Theo, I'm like, I'm at the East Carolina, and she's sending me pictures. So it was pretty cool to see that she's enjoying that one. And I think it's like they do this, like their hook is like their thing. It's like,
The Pirates hook or something,
yeah,
maybe? Yeah.
yeah. I was like, hey, whatever.
Exactly. So,
Good for them.
yep.
They are actually, if you look at the American standings, Navy, South Florida, Tulane, North Texas, and then East Carolina. And
Yeah.
so,
And then Memphis, I mean, Memphis had that was a
ugh,
crazy game the other night with them. So,
too bad for them.
yep. Yep, they were on a roll there.
I know, and they lost to Tulane,
Yep.
to a good
Tulane,
Tulane team.
yeah, Tulane looked really good, and those uniforms they were wearing the other night were so good looking. The white with the white helmet and all the
You and me are like, when we talk about, it's like, oh man, these helmets and these uniforms, man, and it's something that gets me excited.
exactly. I was like, "Damn, that looks sharp right there."
I wish I could be able to like collect things like that, but it's just I don't have any room. If you see behind me, I have a lot of Legos behind me. I don't have any room. Neither do you.
No, and as much as we've talked about, like, the Panthers black helmets yesterday, the Saints white helmet, that was a pretty fire looking helmet last yesterday.
Yeah, I can.
I like again, because you're so used to the traditional helmet all the time,
Hmm.
that when they drop something out like that, and that the white uniform with the bold gold, black outline, bold numbers, I mean,
Those are
that
cool. I
that
agree.
was a very sharp look from New Orleans yesterday, and they played like you dress like you wanna play, and you play like you dress, so
Yeah, and I was, it's funny you say that because I really wanted to come back to the Panthers because we haven't touched too much on the Panthers, but like I
yeah,
was
yesterday wasn't
disappointed
much
in.
to touch on.
No, there wasn't. And again, it goes back to the same thing that you had me. We both completely and utterly agree is that they're going to win enough games that they're not going to be able to draft a quarterback, even though they should, because Bryce Young is not the answer. 17 out of 25, 124 yards. He only averaged 5. No touchdown thrown. He got intercepted once. His rating is a 62.
And he took 2 sacks as well, so that didn't help.
2 stupid sacks.
Very stupid sacks. It's like, dude, get rid of the ball.
And then you compare it to the other guy, Tyler Saw, right, who's just coming in, starting, 19 out of 20, 284, 82 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and his rating 128.
I'll say this: I think New Orleans may have, and it's one game. It's against the Panthers. Don't want to get too crazy, but I think they
Correct.
found a quarterback, at least for now. Better, a hell of a lot better than Spencer Rattler for damn sure.
Man,
Um,
Spencer, there are two quarterbacks that I
he
just
came in there looking like Peyton Manning. I mean, just the stature, this
yeah,
chest
I'm gonna
out,
own
head
this
up,
play.
and he was throwing some dimes out there a couple of times too. So shout out to them because they looked. I mean, again, the Panthers. We've got a good defense, but we just make stupid mistakes at the wrong time a lot.
Oh, I
Um,
agree.
we just couldn't hold them. I mean, we had 175 yards offense. They had 388. So, our running game, again, I've said that all year long with the wins that we were having, the streak we were doing, it was all built on a rushing game that was on fire. And they held Dowdle uh,
Oof,
to what, 50 something
53.
yards? Yeah, 53 yards. I mean, we only had 73 yards total. So, um,
Such an ass.
there is no Jameis Winston needs to follow MILB had history
Speaking of,
because there is no bigger cheerleader for Jameis Winston than
no,
Patrick.
no, no, no. We're not talking about Jameis Winston. We're talking about your thing that we said that we were going to talk about today. Thank you for reminding me, Patrick, on this one. You threw it right at the end. And again, we're doing this again. We got like 3 minutes left in the show. You said that you would take Deshaun Watson in Carolina. Can you
I
please
would.
explain to me this one? Because I'm still processing this. Doesn't make any, it's not a bad idea. I'll be honest. I think it's not a
That
bad idea.
that comment right there is why I'm right. Your comment, because he's on your team. You can't stand him on your team. Your owner gave him a shit contract, screwed up
100%.
screwed up the whole dynamic of contracts in the NFL further by doing that contract. And yet you said it's not a bad thought.
It's not bad.
Just the fact that you think, "Wait a minute, maybe this actually could work," is exactly why that's my point.
I'm all
Because
for this, first of all.
he's gotten the money, he's got paid. He shouldn't have got paid. I mean, good for him, sucks
How
for you.
yeah,
But at
it
this
set my
point,
team back years
I mean, he did it to himself, I get it, and I'm not an apologist for anything that Deshaun Watson has done,
because there's no
because
apologizing for
there
that.
is no
I agree.
apologizing for that, and he's not I've said this before when all that shit went down, he's not the guy that I knew him to be when he was at Clemson, and I don't know if it was the money, being a single dude in Houston, Texas, with all that money and not having his mom around to smack him in the head, keep him straight, or what? I mean, the one thing that has bothered me about Deshaun since he's been a pro, and again, you give these young kids a lot of money, and you start seeing something come out in them. And Deshaun, granted, I know a lot of people give Dabo and a lot of people crap about the church thing and all that at the program, and Deshaun Watson was like that. Everybody was like, he went to church. He's raised by a single mom, blah, blah, blah. What does he do when he gets all that money? Every time you see him, he's walking around with a hoodie with sleeves cut off, and just like his whole persona was different. And I'm not trying to bash him or make it into anything more than it is,
Mhm.
but it's like, where did the church going kid with the single mom go?
He got free. He
He
went
got
to the world.
freaky. Exactly, with
The
all that
world.
money, and he
Yes.
got out on his own, and I mean, not to bash Houston and any fans we've got listening in
No, no,
Houston,
no,
but
no, no,
Houston
no.
was probably the wrong place for somebody like that to
Yeah.
go. I wished at the time that Carolina would have drafted him. They weren't in a position to, I don't think, to get up there and get him, but, Houston got him. Well, actually, I take that back because he didn't go as high as, he could have gone, and anyway, I had wanted the Panthers to get him just because he was at Clemson, and I
You
want
might
them to
get your
draft a Clemson.
opportunity because I mean, listen, if they gave up enough, like they're probably gonna have to eat up a lot of that contract in order for him to be going over there. But to be honest with you, I'll say this, and this is probably gonna be bad, but more likely than not, he'll probably be the starter next year in Cleveland because the quarterbacks in Cleveland have been so bad, and we haven't seen one of them yet. We haven't seen the Sanders yet, so we
Yeah.
don't know what he has. But Dylan Gabriel is definitely not the answer in Cleveland, and nor he should be. He did not play good. He did enough to not lose the game, but even though they still lost because there was two big plays that Cleveland gave up on special teams and it was bad. No, you need to get out of here, Bailey Zappi. Um,
That's another one that he's a champion of, but
I know
anyway.
he is. But anyways, listen, guys, we're at the top of the hour, 7 o'clock. Thank you for joining us tonight. We every night, every day, we Monday, we have these conversations. It's like they're getting so much better for us. We're just greasing the wheel when it comes to Carolina sports.
Exactly.
We're gonna keep it. We're going to put a pin on this Deshaun Watson discussion because it could potentially happen. It's not going to happen now. It's probably going to end up happening at the end of the season. If anything does happen, if Cleveland does decide to move, because in my opinion, I think they are in a we're going to just lose as many games as possible. And you can see it as blatant as this is why they're sticking with Gabriel because they're going to lose games. They're going to lose
You
games and
think
they're going to lose
you
games.
think they're afraid to put Shador in and actually have him do good and win some games, or
Yes.
are they gonna put him in at some point soon just to
Um,
see? Or
from
they're gonna wait until it's too lost to go.
Yeah, exactly. I think they're gonna. From what my understanding is, he is slated to start the last 4 games of the season. At which point, there's nothing you can do about that one, right?
Yeah.
Because it's already done and over with. This whole season, Cleveland season is done, guys. It's over.
That's what I don't understand. It's like, why isn't he starting this week? Because it's like, who cares if he wins the rest of his games? It's like, okay, so he's pretty good. We still have decisions to make.
Yeah, we still got a lot of decisions, but whatever. It is what it is. But yeah, same thing with Carolina. Carolina does need a new quarterback. They do have two really good running backs. I think they're starting to put it together in Charlotte. I'm very excited to see what the Carolina Panthers do. And you and me have, I've come on the Carolina Panthers since last year, like bandwagon. It's like I've seen a lot of improvements there. The one spot that I don't see any improvement on is right there on the quarterback spot. They do need a better tight end, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
those are things that they can be work on in the draft right as they go into the new year. So Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you guys are following the mayor. Make sure you're following me, the dad head, on all of the socials. We will see you guys again on Monday, 6 a.m. Listen, we're having a ton of fun with this, and I
Absolutely.
like it. So we'll see you guys. Take care.